Welcome to our video series introducing Google Analytics. In this video, we'll explore the options you can use. In the Analytics settings screen, before we start going through the main area of Analytics, which is giving you reports, you have a couple of further options. The main options are: you can delete a website profile if you wish, but do so very carefully. Profile data is not recoverable, as it says here, and as already shown, you can add a website profile. You can control the Access Manager to control who is able to see these reports. And if we quickly take a look at Access Manager, for example, if you have a marketing team, you may want certain members of that team to have direct access. You may not want them to use your login, and you may want to create a number of logins. So, to take a quick look, if we just click on Add a User, and it's very straightforward. Email address, and actually it says it must be a Google account, so if you don't already have one, get a Gmail address by going to gmail.com or googlemail.com. Okay, pretty straightforward. Access type, you can choose the level, whether they have control over the account or just have access to only view the reports. And you can also choose which web profiles they have access to. Currently it's none, and if you want them to have access to demonstrations domain, you can select that and add it. Importantly, note here that it says, please note that this user will only have access to the analytics portion of this account and should log in at this address, google.com/analytics. In any case, it's quite straightforward to add extra users, so let's go back to the Analytics settings page. Okay, there's also Filter Manager, which is, as it says here, filters can be created to include or exclude certain visits or clicks from your reports. This is a very advanced feature, and I won't touch on it at this time, but if you feel it's absolutely necessary, you may just want to play around with this and see what effect it has. But I generally find it beneficial not to filter anything, to have everything included in the report so you know exactly what's going on. But that's another potential option. Finally, before we start taking a look at reports, you can edit settings for a particular site profile. So, okay, main website profile information. So there's the information, and that can be changed. Actually, we'll skip past conversion goals as well, because that's an advanced topic that will be covered later. Just for a very, very quick overview, for an example of a conversion goal, let's say the front page of your site is a form where you're collecting names and email addresses. Every time a visitor comes to your page and enters their name and email address, that's a conversion. They've converted from a visitor into a prospect, let's say, or a visitor into a subscriber, an email subscriber. Google can't, it would be beyond the scope of analytics to automatically work out exactly which conversions you need to track on your website, so it allows you to add conversion goals. For example, one goal could be to leave a track for every single opt-in, every single subscriber, so I know as a percentage, plus other useful information as well. But so I know broadly at the top level, I know easily the ratio of visitors to subscribers. That's an incredibly useful feature, but as I mentioned, I'll touch on that later because that's quite advanced, and we'll go through the fundamentals before we start getting into goals. Okay, no filters applied, users with access, and let's scroll up to the top, and you see that if we want to make any changes to this main information, tick on Edit, and you can make some changes if you wish. You can change the profile's name and even the website URL. You can change the default page, and it's actually useful to put this information in here because it allows for more accurate reporting. Anyway, if you aren't sure what your default page is, you can ask your web host or ask your webmaster. Often it's, for example, index.html, or perhaps default.html, or perhaps default.php or .asp, but in many cases it would be the very basic index.html. But again, ask your web host or your webmaster if you aren't entirely sure. Okay, default page. Then excludes URL query parameters. We'll leave that for now because, again, that's a more advanced topic. E-commerce website. Basically, are you selling things, yes or no? In this instance, let's just leave it as no. We're not selling anything on this site currently. Then currency, decimal places, and apply cost data. I do suggest keeping that. Then when you're happy with those choices, just save changes. And they can be edited again if you so desire. Okay, let's save that. And now we're back to profile settings, and you see that it's still waiting for data. So let's go back to the Analytics settings screen. So those are the main options available to you through the Analytics settings screen. And then the other option I haven't touched on is View Reports. And that's really the bulk of what's happening in Analytics, as I mentioned, because that's where you find out what's happening. We'll start getting into that in the next video.